Welcome everyone to the Co-Creators Convergence Thursday night Creator Convo. I'm Noelle Marshall and I'm here with my beloved.
Good evening, everyone. This is Bob. We're so delighted to have you in conversation in our sacred circle this evening. Rita, thank you so much for bringing Julie along to share her gift to the shift in humanity. We're looking forward to taking it all in. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yes, we're going to hear a lot more from Rita Marsh, our host for this evening, and she's introducing us to a good friend of hers, Julie Devilbiss, who I have just met, but she has so much information to share with us. And before we begin, before I turn over the talking stick to my friend Rita, I am going to tell you a little bit about the Co-Creators Convergence. So stand by. So welcome everyone. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce my friend, Rita Marsh. And Rita Marsh is the founder of the Center for Human Flourishing in Carbondale, Colorado. And she's also a Barbara Marx Hubbard student, a member of the SINE network, S-I-N-E network. And let me tell you a little bit about the Center for Human Flourishing. It is promoting mental and emotional well-being through education. It's an innovative for the transformation, development, and improvement of individual human beings, as well as communities, societies, and the world at large. Their mission is to help people achieve a greater mental and emotional balance, realize their full potential, and in this way, lead a better and happier life. So Rita, you have brought us so many wonderful guests, and I'm delighted about Julie's presentation. It's going to rock and roll, people. So don't worry, it's all being recorded because she has so much she's going to convey to us tonight that, I just ask you to sit back, relax, but we will have time at the end for Q&A. So without any further ado, my dear friend, Rita Marsh, it is over to you and welcome, Julie.
Thanks so much, Noelle and Bob. It's always such a treat to come into your Zoom room and bring friends and colleagues that I've become aware of to share with your wonderful, expansive community. And tonight, I'll just say a little bit more about the Center for Human Flourishing. We were founded in 2003, and I'm a co-founder and still hanging in there and co-creating with practitioners here in Carbondale and also through SINE Network in the larger world to bring this empowerment of healing, self-healing especially, into consciousness. And tonight, I am just absolutely thrilled to bring to you Julie Devilbiss, who I must admit I've known since she was a young'un, growing up with my daughters here in Carbondale. And her life has evolved in such a tremendous way And she truly is a light for the future, and she's living out her purpose. She's a holistic nurse and a wellness practitioner, and she specializes in nervous system health. Her practice is built on the foundation that everything is energy, that your spirit integrates your physical body through a nervous system unique to you, and that when you regulate your nervous system, that's the doorway to your sustainable healing and personal expansion. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Julie and invite folks to put questions and comments in the chat. We'll watch for that, and we'll see you on the other end.
Well, hello, and thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. Thank you for hosting me. Thank you, Noelle and Bob and Rita. My name is Julie Devilbiss. I have just returned from a glorious trip to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. So I feel like my sunny disposition has returned to me. And today I went hiking in Carbondale, Colorado. I just got my feet back on the ground here in Carbondale in the snow. So it was blizzarding, and just in 24 hours, I went from 84-degree weather to 12-degree weather. So thank you all for being here. It's such an honor to be here. And I have a lot of slides to move through with you. And we're going to start. So this evening's presentation is Empowered Healing, Nourishing the Nervous System, and the Role, if any, of Psychedelics. In this presentation, you will learn a new empowered approach to your health and well-being, the role of the nervous system. Right, let's see, there we go. And psychedelic medicine and medicine in general. In this presentation, I'm going to teach you about the current healing paradigm and why it's disempowered, and introduce you to a new healing paradigm. We're going to cover some nervous system basics, as well as guide you into an expanded understanding of your nervous system, and discuss the use of psychedelic medicine. By the end of our time together, it's my hope that you're going to have a new understanding, feel like you have an ally in your nervous system, a basic understanding of how to work with it, with or without medication of any kind. We're going to start out getting grounded in our bodies. We're going to start out with an exercise that I do with my clients called the Power of Five. And this evening, we're going to tap into a balancing breath, which is also known as alternate nostril breathing. And this pattern of breath work helps us tap into both hemispheres of the brain, which it brings us present, it enhances focus and creativity, helps us balance our hormones, decrease stress, and improve sleep. So start by sitting back and relaxing and taking a moment to come into your body, to center yourself in yourself, and take a deep breath and become aware of how you feel, how you're feeling right now. And become aware of your body and how your body's feeling. Do a body scan, looking for places of tension and inviting them to soften, and looking for places of ease and offering gratitude. And just become aware of yourself in the moment. How much you're carrying, perhaps how tired you are, perhaps how excited you are to be here. And this balancing breath is we're going to alternately close off the right and left nostrils. So before we begin, just a quick demonstration. With your right hand, you're going to position over your nose and close, using your right thumb, you'll close your right nostril and exhale out of your left. And with your right ring finger, you'll close your left nostril so that you can, and open your right nostril so you can inhale and exhale out of your right nostril. So I'll guide you through this, but this is the hand mechanics of this balancing breath. And when that's complete, go ahead and check in again with your body. Do that body scan and check in with how you're feeling. Notice if you're feeling more present, if you're feeling more grounded. Maybe you're feeling more energized. Maybe you're feeling more at ease. And just notice what's shifted for you after 2 minutes of balancing breath. While you're noticing, I want to tell you a little bit about me, why I'm qualified to be here, why I'm here with you now, and why I'm qualified to be here with you now. I am a registered nurse with a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. I've been in women's health for 17 years, specifically in obstetrics and gynecology. I am a certified clinical herbalist and have been practicing for 3 years with a focus on mental health. And I've developed a private practice specializing in nervous system health and nervous system recovery. I have led many online workshops teaching people about the nervous system and new ways to navigate mental health, work with depression, and release trauma. The nervous system has become, through my work, I could talk all day long about the nervous system. I personally have been living since my mid to late teens. I was diagnosed as being treatment resistant after receiving a pretty heavy diagnosis, understanding of the nervous system into what I called the evolutionary nervous system. I have personally transformed my life. I am off of all medication and living a life I love living, and a life that is full of purpose and meaning. My why for being here with you this evening is to empower and inspire you to take control of your own health and to contribute your healing journey to the collective need for healing, to provide a new perspective on the transformational power of a regulated and recovered nervous system, to educate you about the vitalist role of medication and what it means for something to be medicinal, coming from the empowered healing paradigm, as well as to provide an educational framework around the application and use of psychedelic medications, of psychedelics. My practice, like Rita mentioned, is built upon the foundation and quantum principle that everything is energy, that life energy integrates your physical body through a nervous system that is unique to you, first and foremost, that a nourished and regulated nervous system is the doorway to sustainable healing and personal expansion. My work is holistic, and holistic does not mean natural. It does not mean I am anti-pharmaceuticals or pro-plant medicine. It means, in the context of my work, that I work within the context and systems of wholeness, with the goal of returning my clients to states of wholeness. And here's what I really want you to know at the end of this whole slideshow, that regulating your nervous system is the single most powerful way to access better health, to develop sustainable patterns of well-being, to tap into your personal genius and soul level guidance, and that you are the only person who truly has the power to regulate your nervous system, to regulate, recover, work with, harness the power of your nervous system. We're going to start with the disempowered healing paradigm. This is a rather provocative image. What you've been taught to believe is normal, and it's not. Now, I am and we'll get there, I am a yes and. I am not anti-medicine. I am using this image to make a point. Our current medical model is allopathic. And what that means is that it's a system of medical practice that emphasizes diagnosing and treating disease and prioritizes the use of conventional or therapeutic measures such as drugs or surgery, such as pharmaceuticals or surgery. Our current healthcare model is designed to provide a diagnosis based on symptoms and then attempt to correct those symptoms with pharmaceutical medicine. It is a disempowered system that has cultured us to seek care when we are sick, and then to rely on a doctor or practitioner outside of us, other than us, to tell us what's wrong, how to fix it, and to normalize taking a pill as a measure of treatment. This system has slowly normalized our disempowerment in that we no longer feel in positions of power when it comes to our own health and our own bodies. And we certainly no longer, if ever we did feel empowered when it comes to working with and healing and regulating ourselves at the level of our nervous system. This model has greatly influenced the way we think about and talk about and what we're talking about when we're talking about medicine. Medicine is largely understood to be a pharmaceutical drug that is used to treat symptoms. This approach to medicine has its pros and its cons. I take the yes and perspective. Like I mentioned, I'm not anti-pharmaceutical. I am pro you finding what works for you. I have dear loved ones who couldn't imagine living without their pharmaceutical medications. It works for them. I'm in support of that. My experience is different from that, in that if it worked for me, which mostly it didn't, it only worked for a short period of time, and then it stopped working entirely. And ultimately, I was diagnosed as treatment resistant. It is time for a new definition of medicine. I would like to throw this definition into the ring, that medicine is a conduit of healing and a conduit of wholeness. It is something that returns us to our wholeness. And it does so by addressing the root cause. And when we address the root cause and eliminate the root cause, we bring about a resolution of symptoms, restoring integration to all of the systems that support the vital functioning of the body, and promoting a sense of well-being. Medicine is something that restores our health, not just treats symptoms. So this is the difference between the resolution of symptoms versus symptom suppression. The empowered healing paradigm. So while I can see my slides, I can't see anybody in the room. If anybody has questions, please put it in the chat. And Rita and Noelle and Bob will help keep track of those questions for me so that I can address those at the end of the slideshow. There will definitely be time for Q&A at the end. So what is the empowered healing paradigm? This is vitalism. Vitalism is a holistic approach to wellness that focuses on creating the proper conditions for the body to heal itself. It is a practice grounded in the belief that our bodies have innate healing wisdom. There are 4 pillars of the vitalist practice of vitalism. Pillar number 1, support the health and well-being of the organism by supporting vital functions. Number 2, address root cause. Improve the landscape of the body. Do not treat or chase symptoms. Number 3, identify and remove obstacles to cure. These obstacles can be deficiencies, excesses, and/or absences. And lastly, number 4 is support the action, the intention, the application of medication. So what does it look like? Supporting the health and well-being of an organism by supporting vital functions. What does that look like? It's actually beautifully simple. It looks like nourishment where nourishment is needed, sleep where sleep is needed, water when water is needed, movement where movement is needed, healing when and where healing is needed, and lastly, after we have supported the vital functioning, medicine when medicine is needed. Medicine as a conduit of healing, of returning to our wholeness. The last stop in the empowered healing paradigm is medication. And that's pertinent to this presentation because we're going to be talking about psychedelic medication. I consider that in my practice to be a medication. If we were to go back to this image here on this slide, this image, whether it's plant medicine, whether it's pharmaceutical medicine, plant medicine, or psychedelic medicine, this is not normal. We don't just take medicine first. Medicine is the last stop. So whether it's pharmaceutical, herbal, or psychedelic, the last stop in the healing paradigm is medication. So the old paradigm is apply medicine, do not address root cause, chase symptoms, suppress symptoms, chase symptoms, don't address root cause. The new paradigm, the empowered healing paradigm, is to address root cause, identify and remove obstacles to healing, to cure, to love, ultimately, and use medicine as a last resort only if needed. If you are not willing to identify, to work with, and/or give up the things that is making you sick, the thing that is making you sick, the things that are making you sick, the medications you are taking will ultimately fail. This is a toxic healing paradigm. Applying medication without addressing root cause. We're asking medications to do too much and more than they are capable of doing. So you must ask yourself, what is making me sick? And endeavor to identify to heal, to release, resolve, remove, address that thing directly. So an empowered healing question, right? One of the most powerful questions we can ask ourselves is, how can I heal myself? And the follow-up question, the subtext of that is, what's making me sick? What is making me suffer? And those things can be belief systems, judgments, unhealthy lifestyles, habits, food, relationships, anger, drugs, denial, unresolved anger, grief, unprocessed trauma. So can you name something, one thing that you know is contributing to your suffering, that you know is making you sick? Can you name one thing? In the empowered healing paradigm, it's important to note that there is no distinction between body, mind, and soul. Those distinctions belong to a man-made world that is inherently fragmented because it is made by man, and they don't exist. The universe recognizes no distinction. There is no beginning of the body, end of the body, and beginning of the mind, or end of the mind and beginning of the soul. They are all one experience, one sensation. There isn't occasionally a psychological or mental component. There is always a psychological component. There is always an emotional component, and always a physical component. Now, this is really juicy, this next piece of information. States of being, emotions, are inflammatory or anti-inflammatory to our physical being. Stress is inflammatory. When unchecked, will lead to physical inflammation, physical manifestations of inflammation. Ease is anti-inflammatory. Peace is anti-inflammatory. Love is anti-inflammatory. Anger, grief, hatred, those are inflammatory states of being. Happiness, joy, and pleasure, those are anti-inflammatory. And the science behind this is biochemical, because states of love and joy and pleasure and happiness are associated with biochemicals that are anti-inflammatory in nature, that help us heal. And stress, anger, grief, hatred, jealousy, those are inflammatory because they're related to biochemicals that cascade towards inflammation. We'll get more into that. So the nervous system basics. Please don't check out, don't get overwhelmed. Let this information wash in and around you. You don't have a nervous system. You are a nervous system. And when you understand how this nervous system is working, how it works, you get to harness the genie in the bottle. So the Western perspective of the nervous system is the brain, the spinal cord, and the complex web of nerves that integrates the body and is the channel of communication between the brain and the body, and vice versa, the body and the brain. It's important to note that what I have just explained is a cultural context, the Western paradigm of the nervous system. The world over does not agree on what the nervous system is, what organs are a part of it, where it begins and ends, and no one culture holds the last word, the patent on the final understanding of what the nervous system is. There is a need to continue evolving this conversation, to continue evolving our understanding of what the nervous system is. In traditional Chinese medicine, the heart holds the most important seat of what the Westerners will call the nervous system. And why wouldn't it? If emotions have the power to influence which state of the nervous system is expressed and which biochemicals are released, then the heart clearly plays a powerful role in the health and well-being of the nervous system. So I just want to contextualize what you're about to learn here. This is a one lens of understanding. What I want you to pay attention to on this slide is on the bottom right-hand side is the autonomic nervous system. So your nervous system has the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, which is made up of two branches, the somatic and the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, it runs on autopilot. Your heart, your lungs, your hormonal cascades, your stress response, your circadian rhythms, your homeostasis, they're all on autopilot. Your autonomic nervous system it's scanning the background of your life to determine whether or not your environment is safe, whether or not there's danger, and whether or not there's life-threatening danger. There are two branches of the autonomic nervous system, and that is the sympathetic and the parasympathetic branch. The sympathetic and branch makes you think it's a separate access point. It's the same access point. It's like two sides of this, different sides of the same coin. The sympathetic state of the nervous system is like the accelerator, the arousal. You wake up and you awake, you're alert, you get off the couch, you get out of bed, you make your coffee, you make your plans, you get going with your day, and you have an energetic, awake, alive day. Hyperarousal of this expression of the autonomic nervous system can turn into fight and or flight. The parasympathetic expression of the autonomic nervous system, this is the decelerator. This puts the brakes on the arousal state, and it allows for rest and digest. We heal and recover and repair when we are in this expression of the nervous system. You know you're in the parasympathetic branch when you feel calm and at ease, relaxed, maybe sleepy, maybe alert and at peace. Hyperactive states of this branch can look like freeze, collapse, exhaustion, burnout, chronic fatigue, or apathy. A healthy nervous system is a balanced expression of both branches, of both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. You get up, you have an energetic day, you get to work, you encounter stress. That's normal. You have a stress response, and then you return to baseline. And at the end of the day, you have a delicious meal, connecting with friends and family. You share laughter, you turn down the lights, wind down, fall asleep, have a good night's sleep, and you wake up and rinse, wash, and repeat. And this is what a balanced nervous system feels like. So I have a question for you all to think about. And if you want to put something in the chat, I would love to see. How can you perceive the health and well-being or lack thereof of your nervous system? How can you perceive the health and well-being or lack thereof of your nervous system? Any attempts? Victoria says tension or ease in muscles. Beautiful. Anyone else? How can you perceive the amount of energy and vitality I feel? Beautiful. Bob, just feel off energetically. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, ability to fall asleep. Yes. The perception of your nervous system is a felt sensation. It's so simple as to be hidden. It's how we feel. It's a felt experience. How are you feeling? That's the health and well-being of your nervous system. That's it right there. How do you feel? Right? It's not at all hidden from us. It's present in how we're feeling. It's a felt sensation. Our nervous system is a felt sensation. Restful sleep, amount of pain and ease. When drive healthy, sense of I've done enough. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, thank you all. A felt sensation. And yet we've been trained out of, we've been cultured out of feeling ourselves, right? Interoception is our ability to feel into and understand our inner sensations. Read the signaling of our nervous system. As we develop this ability, it becomes to feel into ourselves. It becomes a superpower. It becomes a healing superpower. As we grow in our capacity to feel what we are feeling and not talk ourselves out of it or override it or dismiss it or diminish it or mask it, but to actually feel it. This is when we step into our power to shift, engage, acknowledge, release, heal our current nervous system set point. Giving ourselves permission to feel. In a world that prioritizes productivity over health and well-being, we have taught our bodies how to normalize the feelings of stress and therefore how to prioritize the production of biochemicals associated with stress. We have taught our bodies how to normalize the feelings of stress and therefore how to prioritize the production of biochemicals associated with states of stress. This is associated with the sympathetic branch of the nervous system, hyperarousal. Signs and symptoms of a dysregulated nervous system. So how do we know if we have a dysregulated nervous system that needs to be recovered? Frequent illnesses, multiple medications, chronic pain, inflammatory diseases, mental and emotional suffering, depression, anxiety, burnout, insomnia, addiction, a lack of belonging or purpose, and we've lost the thread of beauty. We've lost the thread of beauty, that what a beautiful world we live in. I'm so grateful to be here. We've lost the thread of that. And much more. Dysregulation is associated with biochemical and hormonal cascades. The stress hormones are cortisol, adrenaline, and epinephrine. There's more, but those are the basics. And those hormones are all inflammatory. And when we go to our doctors in pain, to our care providers, and we're in pain, either physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we're in pain, we're given medications to treat the symptoms. And we are a part of, right? We're now collaborating with a toxic and disempowered healing paradigm versus addressing the root cause of our pain, which is a dysregulated nervous system. And learning how to disrupt the biochemical signaling that we have taught our bodies is the only way to be. So what are symptoms of a regulated nervous system? We feel grounded, calm, present, quick to laugh. We feel safe being seen, both relaxed and energetic, patient, compassionate. We can access deep sleep. We have emotional resilience. We can let go of the events of the day. We have a sense of purpose, a sense of ease in how we move through the world. These states of being are also associated with biochemicals and hormone cascades, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, and others. And these biochemicals are anti-inflammatory. They promote healing. These biochemicals indicate that we have accessed the parasympathetic nervous system, which allows for us to rest, digest, heal, connect, repair. Now let's talk about the evolutionary nervous system, your evolutionary nervous system. So that's kind of nervous system basics, right? And there's so much more here, but I want to present this in a way that is palatable, meaningful, succinct, and quick, right? So now we're going to step into an expanded relationship with what it means to be a nervous system. Your evolutionary nervous system is unique to you. And it is so much more than just a communication channel between your body and your brain. It is a multidimensional communication channel between your body and your soul, between body and God, body and source energy, body and universe, whichever word resonates with you, body and collective, and the collective universe and body. You are designed to be intimately connected to all there is, all there has been, and all there will ever be. The evolutionary nervous system is the thing that connects us to ourselves, each other, and the entire universe. Your evolutionary nervous system is unique to you. It's not standardized in any way, shape, or form. It might look anatomically, physiologically. Our nervous systems might look like each other's, but the light that those nervous systems carry is inimitable. It is unique to each of us. Your nervous system has a current biochemical set point that is based off of your database, your past experiences, your past life experiences. I saw somebody asked that in the question. And it can be recalibrated. So your nervous system has a current biochemical set point that is unique to you. that can be recalibrated and can only be recalibrated in a way that is also equally unique to you. This is where Western medicine loses us entirely, because it is not designed to be unique. It is standardized in its application. Your nervous system, your evolutionary nervous system, is the point of source energy and soul integration into your body, and it obeys the laws of the universe and harnesses the quantum field. When I began working with this understanding, this expanded understanding of the nervous system, when I had kind of this aha moment of understanding how intimately connected I am into the fabric of the universe, I was able to recover my treatment-resistant nervous system, right? My patterns of my biochemical set point, by teaching myself how to feel safe in my body again. So those decades of chasing the symptoms of depression, of treating depression, which is a symptom of a dysregulated nervous system, could have been bypassed entirely if I had worked directly with the lens of my nervous system and the trauma, the unrecognized, unacknowledged trauma I was holding onto. Feelings of safety and ease there's an error in this slide. Feelings of safety and ease brought about the production of biochemicals, the production and therefore the release of biochemicals associated with well-being into my body. And slowly my body created a new set point. And this is what enabled me to come off all of the pharmaceutical medication I was taking, and it eliminated the need to replace that medication with plant or psychedelic medicines. This might be obvious, but it's worth stating and it's worth repeating. Your nervous system is not man-made. It's not man-made, not made in a lab, not made by a scientist, it's made by the universe, and it operates according to the laws of the universe. The universe, so what are the laws of the universe? What does that mean exactly? The universe speaks the language of frequency and vibration, and your nervous system speaks that same language, and with the use of neurotransmitters and biochemicals, it translates that language into sensations that can be felt and understood by your body, by you. You can recover and learn to regulate your nervous system. And when you learn to regulate your nervous system, when you learn to live with the lens, with the awareness of how your nervous system is doing and how it's responding to the environment, everything in your life can shift. The world, when you regulate your nervous system, when you recover your nervous system, the world around you changes. This is a quantum truth. When you change the way that you look at the world, change the set point, the lens of the nervous system, the world around you changes. So how do we nourish the nervous system? How do we work with the nervous system? We start normalizing states of well-being. We start normalizing and prioritizing pleasure, joy, love, laughter, feeling good, ease. We let ourselves off the hook of the healing journey occasionally. Like the healing journey is kind of prioritizing our pain. It's putting the focus on the ways that we're broken, focus on the ways that we are in pain, the ways that life isn't working in our favor. It's a shift in perspective. We normalize states of well-being and we put a hard stop to normalizing stress. We realize that the cultures that are normal in our lives are toxic, right? The work culture, the banking culture, the political culture, the medical culture, you name it. These are toxic cultures that are standardized, and we are trying to fit and measure our value against them, and we're short-circuiting individually and we're short-circuiting collectively. When we put a hard stop to normalizing stress and we prioritize states of well-being within ourselves, what starts happening is that we start contributing patterns of peace to a world that desperately needs peace, right? The number one way to start recovering your nervous system from dysregulated states, from the effects of chronic stress, from biochemical dependency on the stress hormones, is to develop and become devoted to an embodiment practice. It's not just prioritizing states of well-being, right? We don't want to bypass our pain. We need to feel what we feel. We need to feel into ourselves to know when healing is needed, when nourishment is needed, when joy is needed, when rest is needed, when water is needed. We need to, right, flash back to interoception. We need to develop our ability to feel within ourselves, to feel what we feel, and to stop forcing ourselves to feel what we don't feel. In examples of embodiment practices: meditation, mindfulness, rotation of consciousness, body scan, yoga nidra, breath work, dance. There are so many ways to practice embodiment. We practiced embodiment, the Feldenkrais method. Beautiful, subtle, drives some people crazy. They're like, it's so subtle. What am I doing? It's so powerful in its subtlety. A regulated nervous system is flexed in its ability to perceive subtlety. Subtle is powerful. The current state of your health and well-being is a reflection of the health and well-being is directly connected to the health and well-being of your nervous system. You have the power to recalibrate your nervous system to nourishing and sustainable states of well-being. And once you know that, now you have the power to now you can make empowered decisions around the use of medications, whether they're pharmaceutical, plant-based, or psychedelic in nature. So now let's talk about psychedelic medicine. Let's talk about psychedelics. So what are they? Psychedelics are a subclass of hallucinogenic drugs whose primary effect is to trigger non-ordinary states of consciousness, known as a trip, the psychedelic experience, or as a trip. There are different ways to, and the reason I started teaching about this, and please know that I am an educator in this area. I am not I'm not pro, I'm not con, I am not I do not work with psychedelic medicine. I do not dispense psychedelic medicine. That's not what I do. As a holistic nurse, living in Colorado, psilocybin was legalized, and now it's going to be legislated, and now we have producers popping up all over the place, and now suddenly we have this access to magic mushrooms, which we'll talk about. And I felt like I needed to raise my hand and educate around around the use of medicine altogether, right? So here's how psychedelic medicine, thank you. So here's how psychedelic medicine works. Or you can, this is how you may hear people dosing themselves. Microdosing is non-physician assisted use of small and non-perceptible doses. Small, non-perceptible dose, that's a microdose. Macrodosing is any dose that results in any perceptible states of alteration. Sparkly, giggles, permagrin, vivid colors, hallucinations. A hero's dose is a large quantity of psychedelic medicine that, when ingested, results in a very powerful and often life-changing journey. And then there's recreational use. There's therapeutic use and recreational use. Recreational use has no real therapeutic intention, though it may have therapeutic effects. Clinical studies, anecdotal benefits, uses of psychedelic medicine is that it's used for the treatment of PTSD, depression, anxiety, addiction, and related to the anxiety related to terminal illnesses. And what I want you to see in this list of symptoms, I want you to see the subtext of this as a dysregulated nervous system. The shamanic indications for psychedelic medicine is to tap into the field of unity, to expand your consciousness, mystical journeying, have a conversation with God, heal the past, rewire the nervous system, see beyond the veil of the material world, and dissolve the ego. It works. Serotonin is an endogenous, meaning our bodies make it. It's an endogenous neurotransmitter that, while very, very complex and has a myriad of biological functions, for our purpose here, it is a mood modulator and is both at the heart of pharmaceutical drugs such as SSRIs, such as the antidepressants and mood stabilizers we're familiar with, as well as serotonin is also at the molecular heart of many of the psychedelic medicines that are available right now, that are popular right now. Magic mushrooms is one of them. This is what was legalized in Colorado recently, back in November. And it includes, let's see, I'm gonna get speedy here because we have 8 minutes left. The benefits of magic mushrooms: antidepressant, anti-inflammatory, increases creativity and focus, triggers empathy, helps break old habits and relearn new ones. The neuroscience is that it's a serotonin agonist. It triggers neurogenesis, i.e. the making more and new neural connections in the brain. It induces brain plasticity, neuroplasticity. DMT, dimethyltryptamine, powerful chemical present in certain plant groups, including mimosa, acacia, phalaris, and delosperma, and in the leaves of citrus plants. People can make a tea called, you might be familiar with this one, ayahuasca, from the natural plant version. The benefits of DMT, this is also known as kind of the God molecule: antidepressant, anti-anxiety, antioxidant, increases creativity and focus, it stimulates neuronal growth, supports cognition, helps break old patterns and learn new ones. Then we have ibogaine, a psychoactive alkaloid found in perennial rainforest shrub Tabernath iboga. used as a powerful stimulant, aphrodisiac, as well as employed ritualistically in hallucinogenic doses. It is a reputed anti-addictive medicine, has anti-addictive properties. Psychedelic medicine, researchers have discovered that many of the serotonergic psychedelics are potent psychoplastogens, meaning the compounds are capable of promoting rapid and sustained neural plasticity. And that bears repeating, that's worth repeating. Many of the serotonergic psychedelics are potent psychoplastogens, which means they are capable of promoting rapid and sustained neural plasticity. Psychoplastogens are a group of small molecule drugs that produce rapid and sustained effects on the neuronal structure and function of the brain. And it's intended to, get this, intended to manifest a therapeutic benefit after a single administration. One and done. So here's what I'm seeing in my practice is that plant medicine, mushroom medicine, psychedelic medicines are being used allopathically. Go back to that image of the girl with her head thrown back and her mouth open and she's just receiving these medicines. That these medicines are being used in the same way. They're being used to treat symptoms in place of addressing root cause and in place of doing the healing work, i.e., actually recovering the nervous system, a dysregulated nervous system from the effects of chronic stress, and acknowledging and releasing our trauma, big T, little t. What I don't want for you, for anyone, is to find yourself relying on a medicine that isn't working for you. I don't want you to use medicines as a, pharmaceutical, psychedelic, or plant medicine as a coping mechanism. I don't want you to return to your emotional baseline that is so uncomfortable after taking psychedelic medicine and then feeling like, well, you're treatment resistant, like I'm hopeless. I've tried everything there is, and I don't want you to give up on your own healing after working with a medicine that actually isn't your medicine. I don't want you to not be addressing root cause. I don't want you to outsource your healing journey. Whether to anyone, whether it's to a doctor, a shaman, a psychedelic journey, a pharmaceutical, you need to empower yourself on your healing journey. And I don't want you to be chasing symptoms, suppressing symptoms, chasing symptoms, playing the symptoms game without ever addressing the root cause, which in my practice, in my opinion, is always a dysregulated nervous system, a nervous system that has a biochemical set point that needs to be disrupted. I do want you to learn to consciously pattern disrupt. I want you to experience your desired healing and or shift. I want you to go into your healing journey without any underlying deficiencies or excesses. You can't medicate an underlying deficiency. That's worth writing down. That's worth thinking about. That's worth pausing. You can't medicate an underlying deficiency. I want you to have an entire toolbox at your disposal of practices outside of medicine, plant medicine, mushroom medicine, psychedelic medicine that sustains your healing journey and enhances the success of the medicine itself should you decide to take it. And I want you to know how to self-assess and to get an idea of your baseline, your current symptoms, your current levels of anxiety before you engage with medicine, with these medicines. I want you to know that it may not be your medicine. Not all medicine is for all people. We are not standardized. If you want sustained results, you need to support the action. You need to address root cause and support the action. the intention of the medicine that you're taking, which is to return to wholeness. And in general, I want you to know that suppliers are not invested in your healing. That's not how they make money. They don't make money by you healing. Your one takeaway is that your current nervous system set point is the result of all of your life experiences. It explains the way you are currently experiencing life, and it is the best predictor for how you will experience your future. You have the power to completely transform your life by creating a new set point, regardless of what medication you are taking, want to get off of, or want to experiment with. The paradigm shift here is that we are asking our medicines to carry the full weight of rewiring our nervous systems, while we ourselves remain in patterns of overwhelm and stress that actively counteract the intention and action of the medicine, of the medication we are taking. We have to start learning that our medications are supplemental to our healing work. And I want you to start asking yourself, how can I support the action of my medicine? Rita, how are we on time? Where are we on time?
Another couple of minutes would be fine, and then we should have some Q&A because there are lots of wonderful
Okay, fantastic.
questions. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you so much. In review, empowered healing with vitalism is to enhance the vitality of the organism, address root causes of illness, disease, remove obstacles to cure, and support the action of the medication. And nourish the nervous system. Stop normalizing, numbing, or medicating symptoms of stress and dysregulation, and start normalizing states of ease. Develop tools to navigate stress, process emotions, and become devoted to embodiment practices. Psychedelic medicine is in its infancy in terms of scientific research, and it's also an ancient plant medicine with long-standing use as a healing agent for body, mind, and soul. Know that the states of expanded consciousness reached through psychedelic medicine can be reached naturally through meditation and breathwork. And please do not mess with healthy neurochemistry. Here's how my clients are describing my work. Cutting edge with roots from the formation of the universe, definitely a quantum experience. Mind-blowing with the premise of realizing how much control we have over our nervous system. I tell people it has a scientific foundation based in biochemistry and quantum mechanics with a nod towards spirituality. Here's a fantastic testimonial. Julie did for me what no therapist or doctor could do. I cannot recommend her highly enough. If you haven't worked with her, you simply must. And here's ways to work with me. You can join my wait list. If you're interested in learning to work with your nervous system, to learn the roadmap that I worked with to recover my life, my health, my mental health, my well-being, I just led a 10-week program that was an incredible success. If you would like to work within the context of a 10-week kind of program that holds you throughout your work, please drop your email. If you'd like to join the wait list for that, if you're interested in that, put your email in the chat, and I will send you out my updates. I'm looking at relaunching in June, so May, June, just about 2 months out from now. You can also work with I offer single sessions, a flower essence session. If you've never worked with flower essences, they are a form of energy medicine. And the science behind flower essences lies in the concept of vibrational healing. And remember, the language that the nervous system speaks is vibrational, as it turns out. So this is a very subtle and powerful medicine to work with the nervous system. I have a nervous system nourishment one-on-one session. It's like a deep dive. Where are your deficiencies, your excesses, your absences? And we're not just talking about nutrition. We're also talking about belief systems, languaging, and lifestyle. And also a release session. This is where we focus on one experience, one situation that happened that's holding you back, that's trapped, that's kind of kept you in a pattern of self-sabotage. To release that one thing from your nervous system, to experience my work through releasing a singular experience. You can book a discovery call, a 20-minute discovery call, to see if working with me is a good fit and which of my offerings might be most beneficial to you right now. And I'm on Insight Timer. If any of you have heard of Insight Timer, I have several quantum meditations on Insight Timer for you. I have a guide to microdosing, 7 things to know before you microdose, which includes a self-assessment guide. This is for people in states who have access to microdosing, to psychedelics, and I encourage you to develop a framework before you do that. You can reach me at my Linktree. You can book with me through my Linktree session, which I think Bob or Noelle or Rita can put that link in the chat, or is that not me? Maybe that's me.
No, we can do that for you.
Okay. And thank you so much. You can email me, holisticcolorado@gmail.com, and my website is coming soon. And in closing, I have a beautiful quote to share with you. Build yourself as beautiful as you want your world to be. Wrap yourself in light. Then give yourself away with your heart, your brush, your march, your art, your poetry, your clay. And for every day you paint the war, take a week and paint the beauty. The color, the shape of the landscape you're marching toward. Everyone knows what you're against. Show them what you're for. By Andrea Gibson. And thank you. You all did an amazing job. That was a very long slideshow. We have reached the end, and
Noelle, I thought you had a very good question. How can you tell what your set point is?
it's kind of your dominant, if you review over the past 2 weeks, you take the most recent period of time, and what are your dominant emotions, your dominant experiences? And that kind of helps to find, so by set point, that's an interesting languaging, but we have a top and a bottom and edges and a range of what we can experience within that set point. And what is the dominant experience? Is it one of fatigue, of burnout, of isolation? Is it of joy and play and connection? So you know your set point by reviewing the last 2 weeks of how it feels to be alive as you.
Okay. Rita, did you have some more that you wanted to bring in? I know there are just so many comments.
Such support for your work, Julie, and many of the comments, especially that came from Olivia. And I think people really got a sense of what you were trying to get across, that we can't heal without finding root cause, and to really take the time, the energy, and the concentration that's needed to get there.
Yeah. Beautiful. I know that there were questions earlier in the chat. I was scrolling for them. I was unable to find them. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to unmute and ask.
I'll say something if I may.
Love
Hi,
it. Hi, Olivia.
it's great to, this is very timely for me because I've worked for 40 years plus with pain, and with trauma, with my clients and students and patients, etc. But I'm now the patient, and I'm needing to advocate for myself.
Mhm.
And I have a very arrogant male surgeon who is very good at what he does. I'm having total knee replacement in less than a month at one of the best Boston hospitals, etc. And he doesn't want to refer me for home PT right after my surgery until a week later in outpatient. And I've worked with a lot of people in rehab, and everything, my intuition, my soul, everything is saying, I want to have the option of having that choice. Maybe I don't feel like it. So I'm trying to get in touch with his PA to advocate for myself and say, I want to request it, because if he requests it, I don't pay for it. Medicare will cover it. So this is a perfect time to help me as I'm gearing up to advocate for myself, as I've advocated for my patients. And I'm open to any suggestions. And I would like to book a 20-minute call with you. I'm very interested. I love the way you described very much what my work is all about too. And I thought you did a wonderful job. Also, at a time when a lot of people are looking to psychedelics, you're really clever at warning people, don't let it be like pharmaceuticals. So I think that was very, very important. So thank you. Sorry, I'm being long-winded, but
Thank you. You absolutely deserve, every single one of us deserves the systems of support that we feel like we need to feel held.
right.
And that advocating for a system of support is like, it's like a no-brainer. Like, here's what I'm asking. I'm not asking, I'm telling you to write me a referral
Right,
so that I have the ability to support myself as I see fit. This
right,
is my choice. This is not your choice. This is my choice.
right.
And I know that can be hard with an arrogant male physician. And so perhaps going to his PA is the right move.
Yeah,
Hold your head up high, pull your shoulders back, and ask for what you need.
yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I'm going to.
you deserve it.
Thank you.
You deserve support as soon as you feel like you need it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Is anyone else? Neshama, you had a question about the breathing.
I did. Yeah, thanks. Julie, I loved your presentation. Oh my gosh, wonderful. You're such a good educator, and you hold the energy, of healing, so we can feel it.
Oh, thank you.
I feel so calm and energized. My parasympathetic system's happy.
Success.
Yeah, really. So I was wondering, just the very beginning on the alternate nostril breathing, are you doing this account of 5, 5, 5, 5, like a kind of equal, or
No, I wasn't doing box breathing. I did just the initial inhale and exhale to be I intended for those to be extended, but then for everybody to fall into their own rhythm of inhaling through the right, exhaling through the left, inhaling through the left, exhaling through the right. I kind of wanted to just guide you through it so that you could hold the pattern on your own for a little bit. It wasn't intended to be rhythmic box breathing.
what do you think is ideal? Like, for me, it's before going to bed. It's to quiet the mind. My yoga training says make your exhales longer than your inhales.
This depends on what branch of the nervous system is activated. If you're in the parasympathetic nervous system and you're stuck in burnout, collapse, fatigue, you'll want to focus on your inhale.
Mm. Mhm.
The inhale is related to the sympathetic nervous system. I feel alive, right? So you'll focus on like, that's like an invigorating, the breath of fire is invigorating, and that helps us to awaken.
Mhm.
And focusing on our exhale helps us access the branch of our nervous system, the parasympathetic, the resting branch. So if we are in states of hyperactivity, fight, flight, etc., we'll want to focus on our exhale. So it very much depends on what state you find yourself in, what your dominant state is, and what your intention is.
That's great. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I feel like that the focus on the exhale, because it's really interesting. When you exhale, you really don't think. You create a state of emptiness in the mind. I have another question, but I'm going to let
Please.
others speak, and then I'll come back to me.
Okay, great. Rita.
There was a question in the chat from Victoria who had to leave. Her question was, do you accept any insurance in Colorado, or is it only self-pay?
I do not accept insurance. I'm self-pay. And the reason is so unfortunate. It's because I can't do what I need to do if I have to adhere to the standard models. And I'm not a standardized practitioner by any stretch of the imagination. So, but I do work with sliding scale. I am willing to do that. Olivia, if you click on the link that is in the chat, you'll be able to book your discovery call with me.
Okay, is
I
that
was
the,
not able to. I just tried to, and I wasn't able to. Unfortunately, I tried twice, and your website didn't allow me access.
Stop
I
it.
just wanted to let you know that.
Thank
Is there
you.
another way that I can reach you?
Well, yes. And you put your email in the chat, right?
I did. Yep.
Yeah, we'll reach each other.
Great.
yeah,
We'll reach each other.
Olivia, she's also a member of CCC, so you'd be able to message her. You'd be able to private message her on Facebook.
Okay. On
as well.
Facebook. Okay. Great.
That's just another avenue. Just wanted to say.
Thank
And,
you.
Yeah. So, Nashama, we're back to you.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, this is a question that I have been holding for years. And it has to do with meditation versus plant medicine. So I tend to be a purist, which means that, I want to have my body find its way, my soul, guide me to, let's just say, the quantum field. And I also am very drawn to mushrooms. I have not had a psychedelic mushroom journey. I really want to, but the purist says I can do it myself through meditation, like through breath, quiet mind, connecting to God, being in a quantum field, feeling love and joy and all that. But at the same time, I know there's something really powerful and distinct by a mushroom journey. They're magical, right? That's why they have that association. So I'm just I'd appreciate your insights on this comparison between the self going and the help from the mushrooms and the journey for me, it's not a recreational journey. It's all about deep insight into why am I here, which I have a good sense of anyway. But, what is highest purpose right now? What does the universe most want me to know? What are insights on my own healing journey for guides and others to come in through this opening of the door of the psychedelics, but specifically with mushrooms?
Will you succinctly state your question? There's so much there. I feel like I could go in many ways.
Okay. I could spend the rest of my life continuing to focus on my meditation practice, or I could take a leap and do a psychedelic journey with mushrooms. My spiritual path that I'm on actually prohibits that. And it's there's a conflict within me, which is one of the reasons I haven't done it. I'm connected to a community that
Okay, got
says
it.
no. And I feel like, and I've written to this community to say, you know what, I have read and read and read, and I've watched documentaries that a single dose in the right appropriate mindset can open all these doors. And I'd really like to go there.
The spiritual path. So there was something that felt static when you said that. The spiritual path, if it is man-made and if it is in any way dictating you away from your inner wisdom, I invite you to have a dialogue with someone outside of that spiritual program. Because what I feel personally about that you have stated clearly is that you feel called to this. And that's valid. And that's valid. And have I said enough?
Yeah, you have. And the person who's doing the pendulum, Julie, what are you getting? I'm watching, I'm like, oh, I should grab my pendulum and see what my pendulum has to say too. Wait, you're muted, Julie.
Mute.
The other Julie.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah, the other Julie.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I got, but then psychically, I got for you that honor your path, because so many people, I think, in my own opinion, don't really need the psychedelic because they're born with the knowledge and the wisdom that psychedelics help bring forward. And so but it said yes, because it's time for you to explore.
But
Well,
it's gotta come from in here.
see, what's really interesting, and I'm so
Absolutely, Noelle.
I'm looking to possibly live in another place in Costa Rica. And there's so much plant medicine there because there's such a path of people walking with plants and trees and nature. And you know what's interesting is when someone says no, and it's not necessarily coming from a valid place or it doesn't resonate with you, then there's a desire to branch out further. And I'm just wondering, oh, I wonder if I'm wanting to move to Costa Rica because my spiritual path is saying, no, you can't do this here in the US. That's just an interesting observation.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And for the Inquiring Minds, Neshama will be our guest May 11th, and she and her husband went to a lot of different eco villages and community in Costa Rica. And she's going to be giving us the lowdown, the 411, everything you want to know. So
Really.
be sure to come back for that. But yeah.
With a PowerPoint with lots of images to show you where we were. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I think Rita, do you have anything else you want to bring to the circle, or?
No, I feel complete. I feel that this was a wonderful opportunity for Julie to share her knowledge, but mostly her personal journey, how she got to where she is today. Such a ray of hope. And she really walks the talk, and amazing. In Mexico, back here, boom, do this presentation. You deserve
It was beautiful.
a cup of tea and a good sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
you,
hosting
Julie.
me. My deepest gratitude for the platform to share my work. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. If everybody wants to unmute. Julie, do I take it that you do work with people over the internet, or do you?
I do. Actually, I prefer that so I can keep traveling.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Just want to make sure that was clear.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you everyone for coming.